In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, the totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of our principles of government. That is a summary of my report on a constitutional republic, not a democracy.
Welcome back to Notify America. We have multiple pressing stories to get to. Stories that include Argentina's new libertarian pro-American president officially rejecting an invitation to join the Russia and China BRIC alliance, solidifying his friendship with the United States, and showing the world that Argentina is pro-American, not pro-China. Steve Bannon issues a chilling warning to Donald Trump about his longevity if he stays in the race. We have the clip. You're going to want to see it. Also, we have new warning signs that the U.S. could be about to get dragged into a full kinetic war in the Middle East. And the first general election poll for 2024 was just released yesterday. We have the numbers. Let's just say it's not looking good for Joe Biden. But before we get started, press the like button, subscribe, share the video with a friend. All of that helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Argentina's new pro-American president, Javier Milei, the man with a plan, the anarchy-capitalist president, has announced that he officially declined China and Russia's offer to join BRICS membership. Meanwhile, 5 other countries have just joined the growing economic bloc. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, Egypt, and Iran have officially become the newest members of BRICS. This means a rivaling economic bloc led by China and Russia now control 29% of global GDP and 43% of global oil production. And it seems that Javier Milei has rocked their boat, folks, as Russia and Venezuela are lashing out after Milei's announcement. In an interview with Russian news outlet TASS, Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro said that the step that Milei has taken to remove Argentina from the enormity that is BRICS is one of the most clumsy and imbecilic things that Milei has done against Argentina. By taking Argentina out of BRICS, he's acting against Argentinians, against the Argentine worker, and against the Argentine businessman. Look, Milei's sheer existence probably pisses Maduro off. They're polar opposites. Nicolas Maduro's a socialist, an old school socialist, a real socialist. His mentor was Hugo Chavez. So everything that Milei says day in and day out about how socialism is evil, how it's bad, probably really pisses him off. In another story, things continue escalating in the Middle East, and the United States is walking a tightrope. This is now closer than it's been yet to blowing up into a full regional war, as Iran just deployed their Navy to patrol the Red Sea, the same small corridor that the U.S. Navy's been patrolling for the last few weeks. What are they doing there? Are they planning to protect Yemen's Houthis, the group that we're there to stop? Iran's clearly gamed all this out, folks, decided on their rules of engagement when coming into contact with the U.S. Navy, which they will, by the way. Their ships are going to pass our ships. Will they attack U.S. ships the next time that we have a run-in with these Houthi rebels? During New Year's, we saw multiple celebrities' animus toward Donald Trump shine through. The band Green Day, for example, changed the lyrics of their song to trash the MAGA agenda. Also, Mark Cuban seems to just go off the deep end after having had too much to drink on New Year's Eve. The famous businessman and Shark Tank host wrote this on X on December 31st, New Year's Eve. I wish Biden would come out and just say that he wants Trump on the ballot. The 14th Amendment doesn't apply, then thanks him for the playbook describing how to never leave office and the appreciation of knowing he can't be charged no matter what he does. And it ends with, my fellow Americans, I'm not ever going to leave the White House, and there's nothing that you can do to me, which would confirm exactly why SCOTUS will keep Trump off the ballots and why Trump will never have immunity. What the hell is he talking about? This is what happens when you have Trump derangement syndrome and you decide to get drunk. You start daydreaming about Joe Biden being president forever. What a mess. Steve Bannon issues a dire warning to President Trump, urging him to have his security detail expanded because these pathocratic people will do anything, apparently, go to any lengths that they need to in order to prevent Trump from becoming president again, which includes having him Epsteined, apparently. Watch.
President Trump has to be very careful. The security has to be much better, I think, much better. tighter Mar-a-Lago everywhere. Everybody should be assuming all the time that there are forces out there, dark forces out there, that have made a decision. That decision is that Donald J. Trump, regardless of what votes say, will never return to the White House.
And Bannon's not the first person to say this either. Tucker Carlson said something similar last month and was actually more blunt about it, how the chain of events that we've seen play out so far, if you go all the way back to 2016, since the day Trump came down the escalator, all the way up until today, how they impeached him twice using the 25th Amendment, or tried to use the 25th Amendment to remove him from office, saying that he was mentally unfit. Remember that? So they tried to use the 25th Amendment. Now they're trying to use the 14th Amendment to remove him from the ballot entirely. And like the hundreds of other things, insane things that they've done to this man these past 7 years. If you follow the chain of events that we've been witnessing, follow it to its logical conclusion, it leads to them having him Epsteined. Watch this.
Are they going to let Trump be president?
No, of course. I mean, look, if, they protested him, they called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times, and every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him.
In another story, the first poll of the year, the first poll of 2024 is out. It's a USA Today Suffolk University poll, and it shows Trump beating Biden by 2 points. But when you dig down a bit, it shows something amazing. Donald Trump is winning with Hispanic and young voters. Check this out. The Daily Mail did a write-up on this. Trump leads Biden among Hispanic voters by 5 points, 39 to 34%, and among young voters by 3 points, 37 to 34%. Corporate media probably is losing their minds about this. I mean, Trump is the alleged racist, misogynist, bigot, Mexican-hating president, right? Well, he's beating Joe Biden by 5 points with Hispanic voters and young voters as well, beating Joe Biden by 3 points with young voters. How many times have you heard people say that the Republican Party is a party of old white people, how the youth vote is with the Democrats? Well, that's out the window, at least during this election cycle, it looks like. Donald Trump just cuts through all the establishment narrative crap. Daily Mail writes this: Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden in 2 key voter groups, giving him an overall lead in the presidential race. The first new poll of 2024 found that Trump leads Biden among Hispanic voters by 5 points and among young voters by 3 points, according to this USA Today Suffolk University poll. What's amazing, though, is that Biden won both of these voting groups in 2020, where he defeated Trump to win the White House. Monday's poll also shows that Biden is losing support among black voters, another key voting bloc. Look at this. His support has fallen off a cliff with black voters. Daily Mail says he now has support of just 63% of black voters, a group that he carried by a whopping 87% during the last election. Here's the biggest difference, though. Look at this. They say, but the poll found that 44% of the former president Donald Trump's supporters describe themselves as a 10 when it comes to their support of him. But among Biden voters or supporters, only 18% call themselves a 10. Nobody likes Joe Biden. They're voting for him because they're party-line voters. They don't care who runs as long as it has a D next to their name. That's who they vote for. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.